find us on the computer. Make sure I'm muted. I know it always takes just a couple of seconds, so when you come in, please just say hi. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know where you're watching from tonight. We are going to paint the video. Okay. Hold on. How is everybody today? So if you've been following along on Watercolor Wednesday, we've been painting along to the alphabet. So every Wednesday, we come on here live and we do some watercoloring. Hey, Cindy, some fun, well, I think it's fun, some fun and somewhat beginner-friendly watercolor. Of course, I think it is, but I always like to know that you guys are getting what you need out of it. I love to paint, but I also love to share that with you. We've been working along with the alphabet, and tonight we're on the letter G. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all these things in the right place, and then we'll get started. So I've been working on, and this is kind of funny tonight, like I have some that are half finished, but we started out our Wednesdays and we've, E for elves, we've done elves, that's a different one. We've been painting all different sizes. We've painted, some Highland cows. We've painted an apple. And I've also been painting some spooky things for Halloween and for fall. And I'm working small. Working small is less intimidating. You don't feel bad if they don't turn out exactly as you wanted them to. And there's less fear of messing up, or not so much messing up, but less fear of wasting supplies. A lot of beginners won't use that good paint. They won't use the paper because they don't want to waste it. The only truly wasted art product is the one that we leave sitting and we don't use, right? Can you let me know below? Have you been holding off using your art supplies out of fear, or are you using them? So tonight we are going to draw. I'm going to sketch on here, and it's funny, the mind of a creative. I'm still like a third of the way in summer. I just don't want to give up yet, but today was the first day. It actually felt like fall is coming, so I need to get with the program. Okay, here we are, finding us again. Maybe I thought I could see. Oh, there we go. Hey, Cindy, it looks like they changed it a little bit again, so now I can see the chat. So we're going to keep working small. I will zoom in a little bit. I'll zoom in and out as need be. Hopefully I will remember to. But by working small, I hope that it takes the fear away like it does for me. So I figured we're going to draw. I would like to do a gift because, as I was just saying, I'm halfway. I'm just going to sketch kind of like I'm going to sketch somewhat of a rectangle here while I'm chatting. So it doesn't have to be perfect. At least I don't feel that it does. So I'm just going to lightly sketch in a rectangle while we're talking. Yeah, we just woke up today and we had some rain and it got cooler. And there's a bunch of leaves on the ground. So I said this was the first day. It felt like fall. So I said fall is starting to fall here, and we're supposed to be getting really cool by the end of the week. But I'm like still summer, kind of getting into fall, but I'm also thinking ahead to, of course, Christmas holiday. That's how us creatives are, and we want to paint things. I'm like, oh, I need to start getting ready for the holidays now. Do I? I feel like I do. But so I kind of wanted to ask you guys here tonight, if you're watching, we're going to paint a gift. Should we go ahead and deck this guy out in Christmassy colors, or should we keep it more muted, or just like an everyday gift? So should we make this everyday gift, or should we make this a Christmas gift? So if anyone is watching, please let me know in the chat what you think, and then we'll decide here in just a few minutes. So I want to keep this fairly simple, as if we're looking down on a gift. And I think we'll put like a ribbon. So if there's a ribbon coming down the side off center, we'll do a little ribbon there, just a little faint line. And then I think I'm gonna do the other one way up high here, right? So, so far, I think everyone would feel maybe comfortable sketching this out. But if you don't, let me know in the comments, because I can always add this to my Brush and Script membership, or offer this as a template, maybe with a few other things, so that you wouldn't feel pressure. I know a lot of people like to try to paint, but they don't necessarily know how or want to learn how to draw, which is absolutely fine in my book. So let's see. I don't see anyone so far. So I'm assuming we don't have a preference about color-wise. So I'm gonna just grab, we're working small, so I'm gonna use one of my, this is the Fumui brush, the extended point, that pointed tip. I have been using this a lot lately for painting small. And I've got just a little palette here with my Daniel Smith paints on it tonight. So this is what I'm going to use. And I'm looking at these colors, and I'm being pulled to the warm side. We're being pulled to the dark side. So I'm trying to get this somewhere here that you can sort of see what I'm doing. Maybe I'll have to back it up just a bit. Okay. So I've got some browns and some creams, some greens, some blue, reds, and some yellows. What do we think for color-wise? I think let's go with something that could go either way. Here's a good idea. If you paint the package in something that could go either way, and this is true with anything, like when I offer kits, which I do have kits available at lollydoodlestudios.com, and I apologize that the camera is bouncing. You can always paint with me and use the colors that I'm using, or you can always feel free to use whatever colors you might want. So I'm just gonna grab some of this. This is this brown, and I'm gonna get a little bit of this titanium, buff titanium, and I think I'll just mix the two of those a little bit together. It'll give me like a little tan color. Actually, let's see. I'm gonna go grab some of just this little bit of buff, put it there. Getting this to sit properly, it's gonna be a pain. And I should have prepared my palette better, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna come along here, and I'm gonna go around my edges. So I'm gonna go around all 4 edges. I have a lot of water in this brush and just a little bit of paint. So I'm just gonna come around, and I'm gonna fill that in. It's gonna be barely any paint at all, and I'm just not gonna go across where those ribbons will cross. So if you look really close, you should be able to see that it's wet, but it shouldn't be puddling wet. You can use just plain water or add some of that color to it. So I'm gonna fill this in quickly. I don't have to get every single bit of it. Remember, your paper is like a pond. Where you put water on the page, that is where water flows. That's where your color will go. Okay, so everywhere on this paper that has a bit of a sheen to it, let's see if you can see. We don't really want puddles, even though we're talking ponds and puddles, but we do want glistening, right? So if I turn the paper a little bit, you can see where it's glistening. So when I come back over here now and I pick up a little bit more of my paint and I touch it around, I'm going to go around my edges. There was a lot of water up there. And as you can see, where the water flows, the paint will go, right? Or where there's water. I have to think of a good way to say that, but where the water goes, the paint will flow. I think that's a good way to put it. But you see here where it didn't shoot across the page, across the little gift like it did on this top piece. It's kind of staying where I put it. So I'm just adding a little bit of, I just want interest. I want to give it a little bit of shadow so that it's not a stark white piece of wrapping paper. You could, right? And now if I keep adding color on top of that, that's a wet on wet technique. That whatever color I now add into this is just going to keep blending and blending and blending. But for this next step, I don't want that. So I'm going to dry this really quickly. And again, if you wouldn't mind hitting the share button for me and sprinkle this video out, I would love that. Let's spread the video out like our watercolors spread on the paper. And that way other people will find us. And, you know, it's always good to make some new friends. I'm going to put some more darker brown here. Maybe get a little bit of this more muted color. Just a little. And I want to dry this. But if you could sprinkle the video just like we do our watercolor, and maybe if you are not already subscribed to the page, make sure you tap the bell. I would love that. Let me dry this really quickly. Try to avoid doing what I just did. If you can see that there, I kind of made that spread. But let's see if we can fix it. So all we need is our brush clean with a little bit of water and something like a paper towel. So I've got a piece of paper towel here. So what we need. Cindy misses hearing you tonight. She's been pretty quiet. I think the weather changing is getting her. Hello, Cindy, she said. So I'm just dropping some water right on top of that smudge that I made. And I'm just going to just lightly see if I can mop it up, which I can. And then I can also just take that paper towel and lift it off. And you can't even tell that we did that. So I'm going for this Fumui brush tonight because I just love the little tip. And I want to mix up some pretty, since we're not going to go full on Christmas yet, right? Or even, I know that I heard colors for Christmas this year. Some earthy colors are in, so that would be pretty cool too, to use the brown. Don't rush it. I'm not rushing it. Okay, so I'm going to go on here and maybe do like a little plaid. So I'm going to do, let's do 3. I'm going to do 1 line straight across the top here, or it'll look like it's on the side. So I'm going to do 1 thin line across. Maybe I'll thicken that just a bit. Right, so we'll do maybe like a little plaid. And I'm going to skip down. Actually, I don't want to get too complicated with the plaid for our watercolor Wednesdays, right? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to get some of this darker brown. I'm going to go right underneath of that little orange line. And I'm going to do maybe one. I'm going to lift it and go on the other side. I'm going to do 2 and 3 little lines. Doesn't have to be perfect. As a matter of fact, I prefer when they're not. So then I'm going to clean my brush and jump back over to that mustardy color that I was using. And I'm going to put that here on the paper. But remember, some of that's going to be covered up by the bow. So I'm going to leave, let's see, it's about a fingertip. I'm going to leave about a fingertip and do another line of that golden orangey mustard color. Do another fingertip, and we're just approximating. Make 2 lines across the page, fill it in, and if you do what I just did, just come back in with your paper towel real quick, because we are working so light with our colors, and we're working wet on dry tonight. We should be able to just mop that color up. And then I'm just going to add another one right down here at the bottom. Okay. Now, so far, that kind of looks like a paper sack or something, doesn't it? But I like that kind of look too. I love this whole like natural look, like the natural trend. Oh, so you can see, I'm just getting some, it looks like a towel, doesn't it, Enoch? Thank you for joining in. Guys, if it's your first time joining us tonight, please let me know in the comments that it's your first time here. I love meeting new friends. Make sure you subscribe if this is your kind of thing. So I'm going to come back the other way now, and I'm just going to start at one end and work my way up. So I'm going to come across now, and I went over my ribbon, but it's okay. Enoch, you're new. Well, thank you for coming on tonight and saying hello. It just makes it so much more fun to know that there are others out there that enjoy watercolor and making art just as much as I do. I'm going to give it somewhat of a fingertip across, and we're just going to do those faint lines in this direction now. It's just a really easy plaid. We'll do like another, I think we can fit one more here right along the edge. So I'm just using the tip of that Fumui brush. I'll link it in the description when we're done below. I didn't know that I was going to use this brush, but these are really quickly becoming favorites of mine for small detail work. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that, this is burnt sienna brown. I'm just going to put some in my palette here with some water. Okay, so we did 3 lines going across that way in between those 2 mustard yellow. I'm going to do 3 here as well. So I'm going to do 1, and I'm just going to try to remember to skip my ribbon, and it's bleeding a little bit where it crosses over, but I don't mind that. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and I do like that this looks like a blanket too. 2. Although it's supposed to be our gift for G, the letter G tonight, right? So we did 3 going that way. Now I'm gonna turn the paper, our little small card. Remember, work small. It takes the scaries away. And I'm gonna work back this way now. I'm gonna sneak one in here on the edge of the package. And then I'm gonna do 3 right here. And I forgot to lift over my ribbon again, but it is not the end of the world. And I'm not big on perfection, so it's okay that these aren't matching up perfectly. I actually like them better that way. You like to paint, oh good, right? It's, you just play, just get on there, like remember your inner child and see what they want to do today, right? So this could be a folded up blanket, right? This looks almost like one of those fuzzy warm blankets that's folded up with a ribbon, right? So at this point it could be either one. I'm gonna hit this real quick with the dryer. Let's get that dry. Okay, so it's nice and dry. I can touch it everywhere. I wasn't sure whether we should go all in on a Christmas package tonight, but I'm kind of liking that we went this more earthy, because you can always switch up the bow. You could take a nice earthy package and put a really beautiful, you could go, tell me what you would do if you're watching in the comments, but I could see a nice pretty gold bow on here, a really pretty like maroon red, even a deep forest green bow. That would look really good. It looks real. I love that you said that. Thank you so much. Thank you. So what color do you think we should do the ribbon that's tied on there? Lexi, you like the idea of red? How about we do, let's do some of this. Let's see how. We can always mute this. We have like, we're gonna use this red here, but we can always mute it down, right? Add some water. And I did not prepare this palette properly. So let's test our color. I like to keep these pieces of paper handy near me so that I can come over and test the color before I use it. Not sure that's quite the color that I'm going for. So I could bring in, how about we take a touch of this green and we can add that in and watch what it will do to the red. It makes it a little bit more earthy when you take some of that opposite color. Yep, we put some of that opposite green in there. So that kind of toned it down so it's not quite so vibrant. So what I'll do, it's nice, it's wet, it's dry. I'm just gonna come in and wet. I still have a little bit of that color on my brush. You can see where it's coming out. I'm just going to run it up and down that little cross of where the ribbon is. Remember, we want glistening, but not so much puddles. It's okay if you get a puddle. I'm just going to then come in and add some more of that color. Maybe just deepen it up a bit. Okay, because when watercolor dries, it dries lighter than it looks when it's wet. So I added a little bit of brown to that. A little bit more of that red. See how I'm just tapping it, and I'm going to let the watercolor do what watercolor does. I can bring it out, we can bring it out a little bit around it. What do you guys think so far? Hello, Vintage Revival Design Co. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm just noticing that we're not fully in the camera. Oh my goodness, imagine that. I was so happy to see that you were doing some self-care today, girl. You deserve that. You deserve it. Right? So I'll just say again, if you're new, please let me know you're new. Let me know where you're watching from tonight. I always love to know where my friends are. We are painting a gift. Today was the letter G. So we're painting a gift. And right about now, it still kind of does look like a folded up blanket or a towel. It could even go for, what'd you say, Lex? Green. Yeah, we went with red, but it's okay. You let me know what color you would make your bow if you were painting this package. So we have a vote for green. I think a really beautiful earthy green would look amazing. Okay, so that's the beginning of, well, we're almost done, believe it or not, with our package. Now this part, I want to put in a little bit of a bow, but we're going to have to work just to darken it enough because that's okay, Lex. Bye, Sylvia. That's okay. We'll put Sylvia in a timeout. We'll put her in a timeout. It's fine. Bible cover. There you go. Look, it could be all of these things. Look how easy with one little shape. Who would have known a rectangle and a few straight lines we could turn into all of those things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a little line that way. You see how I did that? And I'm just going to fill that in. Get a little bit more, and I am going to pull it over this way as well. I got a lot of paint there, right? So we were talking about not making puddles. Our paper is like a pond, but we don't want puddles. We just want to see that glistening on top of it. So I got a little bit too much in there. So all I have to do to fix that, right, is dab my brush, pull some of it off, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So we have a nice little wash there. Let's see. The skinny lines, let me tell you what, Cindy, what brush are you using? Because, you know, I'm not big on like, oh, you have to go buy the supply. You know that. I'm big on use what you have, right? But these brushes that I was given this set of brushes, and at first I thought, yeah, I don't know, right? So I tried them and I thought they're okay. I have been using these brushes from the Fumui, the extended points. And like I said, I'll link them when I'm done. I didn't realize I was going to use this brush tonight. I'll try to hold real still though. Uh-oh, where did we go? Hold on. I lost us. Here we are. In this case, I'm going to tell you the brush makes the difference. If you cannot get a really fine tip or point on your other brushes with, yes, if I were doing large work, I could do it with these brushes. But if I want that really tiny stripe, I would either A, have to work bigger, or I want a brush that gives me the ability to make those skinny lines. And this brush does it. This brush really does do it. And I won't say it pains me to say that, but I'm not one who likes to tell you guys, you have to go get this brush. But this is one instance where I will say the brush makes the difference. The supply makes the difference. See how skinny that line, I'm only touching that to the paper. And I'm getting this really tiny line. I'm just going a little bit deeper with my red. We'll get it a little bit redder. I'll fill some of that in. And I'm just using the very tip. The amount of paint that I am using is so minimal. It's almost funny. So I'm just going around the edges of all of those shapes, leaving some of that color come up through underneath for some highlight. And you'll see once it dries, it's going to dry a little bit darker. I'm going to dry this really, really quickly though. And I wasn't saying, I hate to say that because I don't want to recommend the product. I don't ever want people to think that they can't do something unless they go buy some special product that Kim said they need. But in this case, I'm telling you, the brush does make the difference. All right. So that's pretty dry. I just want to come in here with one more small layer of the paint, that deep, deep maroon red, because I want to try to, and I got way too much water there. I want to really define where the bow, the tie for the bow is right there, or the center of the tie, right? So there we go. I can make this a little bit darker, this a little darker. You don't have to come in and do as many steps, but with watercolor, that's the secret. 3-step secret. Start, go thin, thin washes, build up. Thin washes, build up. I don't always follow my own rules, but I try to limit the number of times I go over something on the paper to 3. Once you start going more than 3 times, you're going to start seeing that you're overworking things, right? And then your paper starts breaking, things just start getting too muddled, and it's not always the prettiest outcome. So I'm just going to put a couple tails on that package using that maroon and filling it in. I'm not going all the way into where I touch that little circle for my package tie. And I'm just using that tiny little brush tip to get that on there. And that is our package for tonight. Our gift for the letter G. I hope, maybe, you know what, let's go in really quickly. Let's do one more thing here. Is this the color that I want? No, that is not it. That's not it either. Where is the color that I am looking for? There it is. This is Moon Glow. Thanks, Sin. I'm glad you like it. And again, you have to let me know below if you would like to see some Christmas, maybe new kits coming out, which there will be some coming out. But I want to make sure that the fear of maybe not just you per se, but anyone who feels that they can't do these things is because they can't draw. I want to take that worry away. I'm going to go around the edge, and you'll see I'm not using black or gray or brown. I'm going to just go around the sides here very lightly. I'm using the color Moon Glow just so I can leave a little bit of a shadow around the package, right? Those little shadows to me just give it the pop. I can soften it out a little bit more with just using water. Now when I say I can, I mean we can. We can. So I'm softening that line with just water to bring that to bring that little shadow out. I don't know. It still kind of looks like maybe a folded up blanket, but I'm liking it, right? Either way, it's a gift. It is a gift. You let me know in the comments what you think this gift is or what you would make it be. I hope you guys like this. Again, please sprinkle this, share this video if you liked it. Tell others. We come here every Wednesday evening for Watercolor Wednesday. We do different kind of projects. Right now we're working our way through the alphabet. Tonight was the letter G, so we painted a gift. I'd love it if you'd meet me here again next Wednesday. There are videos that I do put up during the week as well. And I hope if you liked this that you will consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you, Enoch. And I'm so glad that you came and stayed and painted with us tonight. I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, and then you will get notified when I come live and when I upload new videos. I enjoyed tonight. I hope you did as well. And I wish you an amazing week. Till next week. Bye-bye.